Welcome to the Dub Show. I appreciate you guys, man. Check me out.
I caught an L at a young age, stretched out. Getting 24, homie, I got 5 out. Now on YouTube, trying to get a paper route. Coming till you know the deal, we on some grown shit.
What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Today's video, I'm gonna get into something that I don't even know how I'm gonna tell it. So, I don't write anything down. This may be a long video, so hopefully that's gonna be all right with you. Before we get into the video, I wanna send a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Rockin' Chicano Clothing. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I add their website. Please do support that. It's a raza-owned company. They make beautiful stuff. You can buy, you guys see my sarape jackets. They got them in a bunch of different colors. I have one for me and my lady. They have a lot of nice stuff, man. Go ahead and check them out and support them. Raza-owned business. Now, today's video, man. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna say the dude's name, okay? I'm not gonna say his Wario, but he's from Chiques. There's a lot of people from Chiques that are gonna see this video and they're gonna know exactly who I'm talking about, especially a certain neighborhood, okay? So in trying to come up with how I tell this story, let me just start it like this. So I got out of the shoe August of 1999, okay? And a lot of us when we hit a yard, we tend to flock to people that we were in other joints with, as well as people from our area, right? Well, when I was released from the shoe, again, it was August of 99. I went to B facility in Pelican Bay, and I had a homeboy. My homeboy Mondo was there, and then I met this vato, right? His name was Penguin from Chiques, right? And he was a big dude, funny as hell. We used to always talk, clown with each other. And my homeboy Mondo's, he's a clown, and we would chop it up a lot. And I used to like to walk a lot of laps. I didn't like to just sit down at the table. And so anyways, as you guys know, in 2000, February of 2000, we had the riot, okay? The big notorious riot at Pelican Bay on B facility. Well, that thing was in the mix for a while. The initial incident that created it happened, and then there were talks and there was discussion. There was a lot of things going on. Now, in getting to know Penguin had been involved in the 1996 riot in New Folsom, which was, in my opinion, way worse than Pelican Bay and for various reasons. And Penguin had told me it was his first day on the yard. And he went out to the yard, and the homies had told him, like, hey, there's a bag of knives, over here. We'll go over there and grab you one because it's about to go down, right? And so Penguin was cellies with another dude that was from Oxnard, but Oxnard is Chiques, right? Or Chiques is Oxnard, either way. But the homie that was his cellie, that had been his cellie, was a Christian. He was never a gang member. He grew up around gang members, had family that was gang members. He got caught up in a murder in Santa Barbara, right? Now, I liked the dude a lot. He was cool. Now, leading up to the riot, the Pelican Bay riot, right? One thing that stood out to me was that Penguin was very, very nervous about it. And he was going to be, because what we'll do is we'll discuss, the homies that you're the closest with, that's your crew. And so we're discussing, like, okay, homie, who do we want to hit? which group do we want to hit? And then you let other crews know, like, hey, homes, where you guys going to go? Because we're going to go over here. But well, we were thinking of this. So Penguin, being somebody from the area, somebody that I chopped it up with every day with, with others, along with other vatos, we're like, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But I always noticed he was very, very nervous. To the point where sometimes he would get a twitch right here. And I asked him, I said, why are you acting scary, eh? Like, you've been through this before. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to come out, we're going to do whatever we do, and whatever happens, happens. Homie, you're overthinking it, though. And he always was like, hey, Holmes, I feel like I got a bad feeling about this, though. I got a bad feeling. I was like, man, you need to be quiet, homie. Like, like, you're going to make vatos nervous the way you're acting. Okay? So, again, leading up. Months are going by and we're on standby and, this is happening, that's happening, whatever's happening is happening, Well, one day, right before everything jumped, somebody had came and he was asking too many of the wrong questions. So what wound up happening is 2 people got hit during that yard, right? The first one was this little bitty dude. He got hit and he went to medical. And while he was in medical, Penguin happened to be in front of medical in the cage. Not really a cage, in the medical waiting area, which is outside of the actual yard. It's on the yard. It's all fenced off. It's hard to explain to you guys, man. But he was in the area where you would wait for canteen or medical, right? So he's on the track, basically. That pegada happened. It wasn't even a good one. It wasn't nothing serious. They resumed the yard, right? And as we're standing there, Penguin decided to rush the vato that had got moved on because he didn't get hit good. Penguin ran into the medical, basically bulldozed into the cops, knocked them over, got to the little dude that got moved on, and beat the brakes off of him. I think he broke his jaw. He served him, right? And then after that, they resumed the yard again, and then boom, there was a really one of the I hate to use that term, but one of the best stickings I ever saw took place at the end of that yard. And then that's when they said, nah, recall the yard. That was 3 incidents. So anyways, Penguin went to AdSeg. He went to the hole. We don't hear nothing about Penguin anymore. Some vatos were like, why would he do that, eh? Other vatos were like, that vato was scared of the riot. He saw a way to go, where he wasn't going to be out here that day. And other vatos was like, he did a good thing. He did more damage with his hands than the other vato did with his piece, right? So every now and then, I would get the Santa Barbara newspaper, Santa Barbara News Press, right? Just to see what's going on. And after everything had happened, right, everything happened, I was in AdSeg, right? I think it was even before I went to AdSeg. I'm not really clear on the timeline, but I got the Santa Barbara News Press, right? And they started it was like a 5-part series of an investigation. It was a huge thing. Like I said, a lot of people in Chicas are going to remember this. A lot of people in Bruta definitely going to remember this. Penguin came out in the 5-part series. And this is what happened. Like I told you, he had a cellie that was from Oxnard. He wasn't a gang member. That's why I don't say he's from Chicas. He was from Oxnard, okay? He had gone to Santa Barbara with a family member of his and some other people. Dudes from the east side of Santa Barbara told the dudes from Chicas they had to leave. And the vatos from Chicas were like, all right, we'll go ahead and get out of here, because they were outnumbered. They were like, all right. While the dudes from the east side, forgetting how dangerous Chiquez is, everybody that messes with Chiquez knows they are with that gunplay. The dudes from the east side followed these dudes all the way to their car and let them get in the trunk. I don't know who shot who. I don't know who did what, but one east sider was killed. Another one was shot in his neck. Like, they did that. Chiquez did that to them dudes, right? Again, the guy that was on the yard with us in the Bay, he wasn't a gang member. He was convicted of that, okay? But he didn't do it. He told me the whole story, everything that happened, but that's neither here nor there. That's their story. That's his story and whoever else was involved, right? Well, according to the newspaper, Penguin had been a confidential informant on the streets. He had a detective that was his handler. I remember when I was reading, it had his nickname, has his first name and his last name, so it was like, that's definitely him. And it went into detail that while he was in Ad Seg, he had contacted his handler, the detective, and told him, look, I need you to come and see me. I have some information. And I remember specifically that they said when they went to go visit him, that he was so scared because he told them the cops, I can't let the cops know anything. And he would sneak a pen and paper, and he would write down everything he wanted to say, and he would hold it up to the glass for the detective to read, and then he would rip it up and he would swallow it, and then he would write the next thing. That's how afraid he was. Penguin let the detectives know that the guy that was convicted for the murder wasn't the real shooter. He identified who the shooter was and said that he wanted to help. Imagine that. Like, this is real life. This is like, I've never heard of this before, never or after, okay? The dude that he had identified as the real shooter, he said that dude was trying to pay Penguin to kill his Sally, but that he didn't want to do it because he was a Christian and he didn't deserve to be in prison in the first place. The dude that Penguin, as I remember, nobody knows whatever, it's nobody's business, but Penguin is the one identifying somebody. And so the cops go and snatch that guy up. He's in the county fighting a case, right? And they pull Penguin down. Penguin puts a wire on and becomes the dude's cellie. Now, whatever happened, but I know this. The guy he identified, it was an illegal wiretap. And the Christian dude was able to go home. But somehow, Ventura County decided for I don't know what, they probably gave that vato a medal. But he went home. I remember he was doing like 18 years with 85%. But because he put his life on the line, and I don't know how they justified it, they threw everything out on him. I didn't even know that was possible. I thought once you're convicted, that's it. But that man was able to go home. An innocent man was able to go home. And then the guy that Penguin decided he was going to use as his scapegoat to get out of prison, he was able to just fade away. I don't know what happened to him. Well, I mean, he wound up going to prison. Luckily not for a murder. I wouldn't have believed anything that Penguin said. Once he did that, it was obvious it was self-preservation. But isn't that the most scandalous thing? Like, imagine that. That's crazy, man. This dude was a dangerous individual. But because he was willing to sell other people out, he was treated like I don't know, what is that treatment like? That's some strange stuff, man. But that's my video. I will not be surprised if there's people in the comment section that'll be like, I know exactly who you're talking about. I would hope that you wouldn't say what Wario is from, because it's not a reflection of that Wario. It's a reflection of one individual who did something scandalous to his own homeboys, apparently for years. I remember going back, before I go, I remember going back to the shoe right after that. And I ran into a homie from that barrio. And he was like, hey, what happened? I was like, homie, when I get my property, I got all the newspaper clippings. You know it's a trip. The cops took all those newspaper clippings. Other stuff that I had, they let me have. But that, they kept. It was weird, eh? You know, and I'm not telling this story because I want anybody hurt. Of course not. That's not what I'm about. I'm not a violent man. I'm not into pushing criminality. But what I am trying to do is open you guys' eyes. You know, the lifestyle, man, you never know who you're dealing with. Again, this was a dangerous dude who was committing crimes while working for the cops. It's a cold thing, man. It's a cold world. So with that, everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out.